Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome to Daily's 2A News. In these uncertain times, there's been a lot of talk about martial law and what martial law would mean if it was implemented. What rights would you lose? What rights would you keep? And how would things run? Has martial law actually been implemented in the United States before? Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, when it comes to martial law, I'm definitely not an expert, but it just takes a quick Google search to get a basic understanding of what martial law is, how it will affect you, and how it's been used in the United States in the past. Now, martial law is not always something that happens on a national level. I believe the last time it happened on a national level was during the Civil War when Lincoln was president. But it has happened more recently in a local level and even a hyper-local level, I think as recently as Katrina. Now, what I mean by local and hyper-local is martial law can be implemented on just a city. So a city could be under martial law. But on a hyper-local level, they can implement martial law on just an area within that city or around the city. So you can look at, let's say, the dock workers in San Francisco. When the dock workers went on strike and there was no goods flowing in through the harbors in San Francisco, martial law was implemented just for the docks in that harbor. And so the military came in and kind of took over and got everything back and flowing again. Or in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where the mine workers started to revolt, they even blew up a building from what I heard, and martial law was implemented in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So you have cities, you have localities, and then obviously, you know, with Lincoln and then the Civil War, you have the entire country. Now with martial law, there's a suspension of habeas corpus, which means that during martial law, whether it's implemented in that small section or it's something that happens nationally, that means that the military can hold you indefinitely even without cause. So for instance, right now, if you were to be arrested and you were to be thrown in jail, you could be given a lawyer, you have your phone call, you can get in contact with somebody, and they have to tell you what you're being arrested for. They have to tell you what the arrest is for prior to that. Well, during martial law, they can simply pick you up because they assume that you could be a conspirator to, whatever has caused the martial law to be put in place. They can simply snatch you up, they can put you in a dark room somewhere, and they don't have to tell anybody about it. So your right to habeas corpus is essentially eliminated at that point, and you could be arrested and thrown in jail indefinitely for just about anything at that point. So with that being said, what rights could you lose under martial law? Now with martial law, the governor of a state or the president could implement martial law for a specific amount of time, or they could allow martial law to stand until something is fixed. So for instance, if there is a war or we're invaded or something like that, they could choose to have martial law stand until the conflict is over. Once peace has been reached, then they can go ahead and they can lift martial law. Or they can have it set to a specific date if there's some type of national emergency or something like that. They could say, okay, we're going to go until May 15th with martial law, and then after that point, martial law will be over. But you have to try and remember that during martial law in the affected area, it's the military that has jurisdiction. So the military has jurisdiction in that point. They would be the ones that would be enforcing law, and you could lose a lot of your rights. You could lose your First Amendment rights, you could lose your Second Amendment rights, your Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment rights. Essentially, the Constitution is null and void until martial law is over, and that's why martial law is so scary to so many people. That allows the military to essentially come in and ignore a lot of these, rights that are in our Bill of Rights, and simply ignore those things and be able to adjudicate law in whatever fashion that they see fit. Now, I believe you still have the right to appeal to a public court, like the Supreme Court and so forth, but still, during martial law, it's a very scary time where a lot of power, pretty much almost all power, is given to the military. And so, when you talk about martial law, people need to be really careful. I know there's a lot of people who really think that nobody should be allowed outside, and that the stay-at-home order should stand right now to the point where maybe martial law should be implemented. But those people that are calling for martial law to get people to stay indoors probably don't have a basic understanding of what martial law would actually mean, because their First Amendment right could be suspended. They might not be able to talk about the thing that they want to talk about and disseminate that information within the area of martial law, and so they could lose their right to free speech simply by saying, oh, I want people to stay indoors because the public health is at risk. So before people start calling for martial law around here, they really need to do their research on what martial law means and what it can mean for them. Not only the people that they just want to stay at home. It's not about having, the National Guard come through with Humvees and patrolling areas, which is, a scary thought on its own, but it's how it could be implemented inside your home as well. It's not just an outside your home. The military would have a right to come into your house, to take your property, to seize things. I mean, I don't think that they have a right to do that, or that they should have a right to do that. You know, our rights are inalienable and have been given it to us by God and not by the Constitution, which just enumerates them. But still, it's a power that's given to the military, where, you know, unlawful search and seizure is no longer a thing. If they have a feeling that maybe you're a conspirator or you're somebody who's working against the overall objective of martial law and why it's been implemented, they could simply come into your house and take your property, take you, and keep you for, you know, an unlimited amount of time or until martial law is over. And there's really nothing anybody could do about it except for fight back. And I think that's kind of what would happen. I think that if martial law was ever implemented on a national level, and that's what our military was used for, if it was, you know, something that was used unwisely, then I think that we would have the next civil war. I think that's when the next civil war would definitely start, because I don't think a lot of people would stand for that. A lot of people aren't even standing for what the government's doing right now. I think the government overreach is absolutely ridiculous when it comes to what's happening now. They're destroying the economy, they're destroying the country, and nobody really seems to have a solid plan to move forward from this. So it's terrible what's going on. But calling for martial law, that should not happen. Those people out there that you see that call for martial law, you need to send them some web links or something like that and have them educated on what martial law actually means, because it's bad for everybody. Okay, martial law is terrible. It's been implemented in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's been implemented in San Francisco. It's been implemented in Kentucky. It's been implemented in Louisiana. It's been implemented all over the place, and you don't ever see anything good come of it. Maybe conflict resolution, you know, like with the miners or with the port workers, the dock workers. Maybe conflict resolution comes out of it, but still what's implemented on the people during that time is unacceptable. Unacceptable. The people have a right, just like the dock workers and the miners, they have a right to, you know, air their grievances. And if they don't think they should go to work because it's an unsafe environment and they're worried that they're going to die, they should be able to stop working and do that. Martial law shouldn't be used in a case like that. That's just my personal opinion, to try and get these people back to work. I think that companies need to work with these people to try and fix the problem so that those grievances no longer exist. But still, asking for martial law shouldn't be even on the table at all. So just try and keep that in mind next time you see somebody online say, we need martial law for these people to stay at home. We need some type of martial law in order to force people to stay at home so they don't go out. Let them know, martial law, you're going to lose your rights. Even if they just think that you're somebody who's, you know, advocating for going out and protesting against those things, that wouldn't be okay in martial law. You'd be arrested and thrown in jail. So something to keep in mind. I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, comment, and let me know what you think down below. Have a great day.